This is a typical bottle of cannabis oil, and each licensed producer may do it a little bit differently, but today I'm going to show you how to use a cannabis oil that comes with the syringe. So this one in particular is from Spectrum Therapeutics, and it will come with a syringe and a rubber stopper that looks like this. All right. There's two ways for you to use the cannabis oil. So the first is to simply ignore the rubber stopper and just put the syringe into the bottle. So first you want to take the protective tip here off the syringe, and I suggest pulling this back a little bit and then pulling off this bit. The first time you take it off is going to be a little hard, but after that it'll get easier, and you'll want to hold on to it so that you can protect this from getting dirty. All right, so you're going to take your cannabis oil, and it's child protected. So just like most medication bottles, you want to push down and twist and get the lid off, and it's just going to be just empty like that. So then I normally set it on a table, put in the syringe, and I will hold it like this and pull up the amount I want to use oil. So you can see and you can measure. So you might, if for the 0.2, you might have to look in there. So a lot of people prefer doing it this way just so that they can see how much oil is left in the bottle. And you can just leave it standing on the table while you're pulling up on the syringe. Now the syringe itself has gradients. This here is a full milliliter, and it's demarcated by in 0.1 increments. So you'll have 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and so on. So point something milliliters up until 1 milliliter. So that's how you measure your oil. And then once you take up the oil and swallow it. You can put it under your tongue, hold it down. However, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can just put it directly in your mouth and swallow it. You can drink some water after. You can have it before or after food. Some patients find that it is a little bit, some might find that in the beginning it might irritate the stomach just a little bit. So then I would suggest eating food first and then using the oil. But you do get used to it. Now, the second way to use the cannabis oil is to use it with the rubber stopper. So, before you use the oil, you take your rubber stopper and you place it in the bottle like this. You just push it down. And it should look like that. There we go. There's a little hole in your oil bottle there. So what you do is you take your syringe, that's been the plunger all the way down, you stick it in the hole there, and then you flip your bottle upside down, and you can see precisely all of the numbers. And this is why a lot of people like this rubber stopper. So then you're going to pull your syringe down or up until you get to the right amount. So let's say I'm taking 0.4 milliliters of oil. I go down to 0.4. Okay, and make sure that you are measuring at the base here, not the tip. So here is where you're measuring. So 0.4 milliliters would look like that. All right. Then when you've pulled it down, you flip it back over so oil doesn't come out. When you take your syringe out and in your mouth, swallow it, and you're done. So try your very best not to actually put your mouth around the syringe. You can just simply like plunge it into your mouth instead of putting your mouth on it. This is so you don't prevent any saliva buildup on there, any bacteria, anything like that. You still want to clean your syringe as often as you can with just like dish soap and water, but to avoid having to clean it after every use, just don't put your mouth around it. And I'll put the protective tip back on here. And then close your bottle, and that's how you use your cannabis oil.